Welcome back, everyone. Well, one thing's for certain. Warren County is on the move. My wife and I have lived in the city of Glens Falls for 10 years, and the changes in just that time alone have been really remarkable. And speaking of 10 years ago, I met this guy 10 years ago also. You're one of the first people I ever met when I moved here.
I was, yes.
This is Ed Bartholomew, who's the president and CEO of the Economic Development Corporation of
Warren
County. Hello, Edward.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah.
We'll cover all time zones here for you.
Great to have you here. We love to have Ed come in from time to time just to try to help us keep pace with everything that's going on in Warren County. So we're going to jump right in. Glens Falls, we were up there recently for a major press conference about one of the 4 key projects that you and I talked about going on in the city of Glens Falls.
You know, Mayor Diamond said it best when he indicated that it was a rainy day. I thought we were going to get flooded out. I thought we were going to end up in Sonny Bonaccio's basement of his new building because of the rain. But we would take that kind of day when we could bring to the table 4 projects in various stages that are going to be completed within the next year, totaling $55 million.
Boy, that is not pocket change, Ed. Let's go through them.
Sure.
Let's start with the one that's completed, the parking garage.
Parking garage, again, through the cooperation of Governor Cuomo's office in obtaining a grant of $3 million toward an $8 million project. That garage contains 507 parking spaces, and it's a total cost of $8 million, including $1 million for acquisition costs. So the garage itself cost about $7 million. But that's going to be a great help for evening events at the Civic Center, at the Wood Theater, restaurants downtown, as well as during the day to assist in the parking with the Glens Falls Hospital and Sonny Bonaccio and Dave Bucco's project, the mixed-use project.
Now, we threw the first shovel of dirt on that project.
A little muddy.
Yeah, this is, yeah, that's right. Hey, this is a major mixed-use building, very similar to something Bonaccio Construction created here in Saratoga. Very urban setup with residential, with commercial, and with retail, right?
Sonny has developed a great niche for urban downtown living, with 87 apartments being proposed in downtown on Hudson Avenue, adjacent to the parking structure and the Glens Falls Hospital. About 30 to 40,000 square feet of commercial, retail, and office space. They're working right now against the weather to get the foundations in, so they have about a year of construction. But we are just greatly enthused over the arrival of Sonny and Dave, and of course Tony Bonaccio will be the project manager up there. So we're just delighted to have another presence and an exciting project for downtown Glens Falls.
Got you. Glen Street, major changes on Glen Street. There are a lot of facilities upgrades going on.
Well, that's very important, is that we have some great bones of the buildings, but they need a little love and tender care. So we've been trying to focus on increasing the facade, as well as we really have some holes on our urban areas that we need to improve, bringing some more retail, specialty retail in Glens Falls.
I've seen some major changes there too.
More apartment complexes, 87 apartments will probably bring in 125, 130 more people downtown. So they're really going to span out and look for things to do downtown.
Another thing that we've been covering extensively is the prospect of this $500 million grant that's being proposed. Try to give us, if you can, it's so complicated, try to give us the 30,000-foot view on this one, okay?
I'd like to go maybe to 50,000, but essentially people get confused when they call about the capital region. For these kind of projects, there are 8 counties involved in the capital region, from Columbia and Greene through the Capital District up to Saratoga, Warren, and Washington County. The state developed 7 other regions in this particular area. All of those are going to be eligible, have submitted a grant application that the governor and his group will be making an announcement by the second week in December. 3 of the 7 will be awarded $500 million over a 5-year period. The positive thing for our region in Glens Falls is that Glens Falls and the city of Albany were designated the 2 pilot cities for that component of urban revitalization. So if we're successful in the region, that doesn't mean the city in Albany get all of the $500 million. We would love that, but we're going to get a fair share to concentrate on downtown urban renewal for purposes of providing pilots so that other communities can learn from our experience and go forward with it.
Well, you know what, a real benefit of being what I would call in the media world a test market is that you get the opportunity to do the infrastructure changes and, you know, that you're looking for. Now, when you always talk about urban setting, infrastructure is always paramount. So I would assume that that's part of...
Very, very important to look at upgrades for, you know, we have water lines in some areas that are over 100 years, almost as old as you, 100 years. Water, sanitary, storm sewer, drainage, all of those areas, upgrading the street lights to LED, looking at taking buildings that need some upgrades, but also bringing other developers and our existing developers to acquire some buildings. We're also looking to partner with SUNY at Adirondack to possibly bring the Culinary Institute, which is located from Bay Road down into the city of Glens Falls, and also attracting other businesses as well. I think that the Bonaccio project with Dave Bucco is really is going to be a real beacon for other developers to be attracted into downtown Glens Falls. If we're success, even without the success of this money, we're going to be moving forward with some of these projects.
So safe to say you might lose a few nights sleep waiting for the governor's announcement.
We've got a big calendar and we're marking every day down. But
every
you know,
day.
I think the region put in a great application, and there are other wonderful projects throughout the 8 county areas that deal with arts and water-related projects. Also, some very important. We talk about infrastructure, sanitary, and storm sewer in some other areas. So it's a great diversity, and very importantly, the opportunity agenda, which is providing in some of our capital region cities that have high unemployment, opportunities and job training programs, which are very important. So I think we've put together a very comprehensive plan, and we'll keep our fingers crossed and break the turkey wings the right way on Thanksgiving Day.
And see what happens.
That's right.
You know, your responsibilities extend beyond the urban parts of Warren County. As you look at Warren County as a whole, what other priorities do you have?
Well, one of the most important projects for the county is broadband, the lack of broadband right now, the lack of cell coverage. I think everybody recognizes that when they try going up the Northway after exit 21, the coverage. It's really, I would compare this to the issues back in the 1930s when many areas did not have electricity. There was the National Electrification Act of 1934. When people literally went door to door, farm to wire, and what we need to do is get broadband and cell coverage back up where it should be for our area. Many businesses are going to iPhones. They can't, that's not applicable in our area. You just can't do that. People want to maybe spend a few more days up in the Adirondacks. They bring their kids along. No coverage. They're not going to stay. You want to come up for a longer weekend and do business a little bit, you're not going to be able to do that right now up in our northern part of Warren County.
You know,
so that is key for us.
You know, we know because of we're a broadcaster, so we know we get a lot of news from the FCC.
Yes.
And it's a national issue. It is a national priority, and we happen to live in a region. You know, people forget that, you know, over-air signaling is very subject to the ups and downs, literally speaking, of the terrain.
Yes.
So you're dealing with issues here in parts of Warren County especially where it really needs to be addressed in order to make certain that broadband's available.
And we're waiting. Governor Cuomo has really made that, like Warren County has made that, a major priority project for all of New York State. They're refining the application grant process, and we hope to be filing an application to assist us in funding, probably sometime in January and February. But again, the urbanization projects, the upstate, again, it comes an initiative out of the governor's office. And again, so more attention is being paid to the North Country, which includes our capital region, Saratoga, in Warren and Washington County, which is great. I think we're finally beginning to get our fair share, thanks to the governor.
Yeah, thanks to you too, by the way. I mean, you have a lot of experience, a lot of ties to Albany. You know you know how to talk to
Well,
these
we have
people.
some great legislative leaders in our area, Dan Steck and Betty Little, and we've got some great partnerships throughout Warren County. And you had Kevin Garrity on, and
Yes,
Kevin
right.
certainly is a leader in advancing and saying, okay, these are the things that we need to do to better all of Warren County, and just not his town of Warrensburg.
I got it. Well, Ed, thanks for coming in. It's always great to catch up. I'll be watching and we'll be waiting to hear the news on the grant and also any of the advances that are made.
We will fire off a Fort William Henry cannon from downtown
You're
Glens
damn
Falls.
right.
Thank you very much.
Good, Ed.
Jess.
Great to
Always
see
good
you as
see you.
always.
Thank you very much.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.